Hello everyone, this is Fivo Mystery Cases. Today, we continue to talk about the Thiaoouba Prophecy. On the last video, we talked about Michel of France and how he experienced the so-called thao aliens and started his change journey. In this issue, we will continue to talk about what Michel saw and asked during this trip. In the spherical spaceship, Michel, under the guidance of the thao, walked through the entire spacecraft, entering into a room when suddenly, like entering into a new world. The room seemed to see no borders. Here, Michel saw a solemn assembly with an endless crowd in front of him. One of them was wearing a costume that was unimaginable that this man seemed to be a king. Michel in this room, immersive, and even walk around in the crowd. He had an inexplicable sense of familiarity when he saw the king, but he doesn't know who he is. Thao told Michel that this was his previous life. The king took a kerchief from her noble hands around the head. It turned out to be a celebration ceremony for the new king. Michel never thought that he should have been a king. The entire palace began to shake. His two ministers of state had fallen to the ground. People fled everywhere, and the king was finally crushed to death. After a while, Michel went to a boat. This is the ship Seafarer's Lounge, which has 12 beds. A lot of people are asleep, but only 2 people did not sleep, of which some of the older people. It immediately attracted Michel's attention. Intuition told him, this man is his past life. Michel involuntarily walked towards the man. When he crossed the man, he felt the stimulation like electricity. There is also a feeling of love, a feeling that has never been seen through the whole body, a feeling of being one. When he walked into the person's body, he heard a ship in the ocean, the sound of sailing. He smelled the cabin, a musty smell. He even felt the fatigue of his body. An emotion flooded his heart. Thao told Michel that he and the man's spirits were reunited, but don't fall into it, because he must not fall into it, because he's just an observer. So Michel reluctantly get out from the person's body. Later, Michel saw more of himself. He had been a beggar, a nun. He worked as a miner and had been an African child eaten by a lion when he was 8 years old. He witnessed many of his past lives, the process of dying, but overall, except for the king, most of his previous lives were bitter days. But Thao told him that these are all experiences. As long as they do not intentionally hurt his body, they are all good experiences. So, is it bad to commit suicide? Michel asked. Thao said, suicide is a behavior that greatly hinders the evolution of the spirit and violates the laws of the universe. But you can see that your past life seems to be tied to a wheel, and this wheel is non-stop turning. Sometimes in your life, sometimes the next. Your body is just a tool. Like a sculptor chisels and hoes, they will not be the United States itself, but in the hands of the artist can create beauty. Each of your past life can be work of art, but in every spiritual body, transform into the flesh before, and it must cross a river. Because crossing the river will erase all the memories of previous lives, but sometimes memory. It has not been completely removed. When you are in a place that you have never been to, or even just to see a photo, you will have a sense of familiarity because that is yours, where you have been in your previous life. Why did you choose me? Michel asked Thao. Because you are one of the few people on the planet who has gone through the 81st reincarnation. That's why we allow you to visit your previous life. Religion is a byproduct of our intervention in human beings. You know that we will not directly interfere in human progress, which is against the universe law. From the Egyptian pharaoh Seti I, started Egyptians began materialistic life and began the pursuit of material as the ultimate goal in life. So we decided to provide the necessary guidance, send an honest and competent people. The Greek Hebrews brought back from Egypt where they lived before, because they lost themselves under the rule of Egyptians. On an 8th-level planet, a man named Thiaoouba has just died and his spirit was waiting reincarnated Thiaoouba. Because when we put tasks to him, we hope he's able to return to a planet next life. Becoming Siberia, who became to the rescue and he agreed. A so-called Moses who was born. He was completely unaware of his mission until he was born 40 after. He led the Hebrews out of Egypt's ruling to find a new home, and he had a dream guide to complete his mission. Other religious leaders on the planet comes out of this, but religion is not our intention. This is entirely a byproduct. Are aliens real? There are some races with similar mental level to the Earth. They came to observe the Earth. For example, the gray aliens we often witness. Their planet is a sorrowful planet, just like the Earth, and they have completely lost their reproductive ability, which is due to the consequences of their civilization. In simple terms, they will soon be extinct. Human reproductive capacity at 40 began to decline years. They came to Earth at that time to observe changes in human race and society, hoping to save by observing human changes. They implanted testing equipment in the bodies of about 150 people worldwide, and you reported that 500,000 people were hijacked and implanted. This information is not true, but this behavior does not cause any harm to humans. Michel asked Thao again that some aliens are preparing to invade the Earth. Is this true? Thao said, it is impossible because the Earth does not need to invade the Earth. It is very close to a real global disaster. No civilization will target the Earth. What is a pyramid? Pyramid builders are not human, and humans and Arimo X3 common ancestor in the construction of the Earth. These pyramids are also on Arimo X3. The pyramid is an information exchange center. Because the Earth lacked the necessary material, it was built this huge building, but the basic principle is the same. The royal room inside the pyramid. It is the place to gather the energy of the perfect pyramid where you can receive information from pyramids on other planets. And the pyramid is not a mausoleum. That is how to build the pyramids of it, Michel asked. The pyramid is built using a technique of ultrasonic vibration. These sound waves can levitate stone to form pyramids. Why was the pyramid built in Egypt? Michel asked. There's only one place on each planet which can accept architecture like pyramids. Outgoing message and on Earth is Egypt. The size, orientation, and specification of the pyramid must be accurately planned. Otherwise, it will be difficult to make a difference. How did dinosaurs become extinct? Tens of millions of years ago, an asteroid was captured by the Earth. Since then, the Earth has two satellites. One is the Moon. One is this asteroid. Because the two satellites interfere with each other, these smaller satellites eventually crash into the Earth. This led to the extinction of dinosaurs. Is time machine possible? The laws of the universe do not allow a return to the past or the future, but the meaning of time machine is to look back at the past. Since birth on every planet, there is a space different from the present. It is the space where we use the space-time lock. This layer of space is like capsule enveloping each planet. It uses light to make the planet from birth to destruction. Every moment is recorded. Its content is extremely precious to you. You can see the past of the Earth when you enter this space. For everything that happens, this is the time machine. How to treat money. There is no currency of any kind on Thiaoouba. Is the human mind and spiritually the resources? It is not the monetary system that allocates resources. It is the contribution value, dedication, and the monetary system is a scourge on the planet. It's the real original sin. Since the emergence of the monetary system, most people have been completely enslaved by the monetary system. They have repaid their loans and interest all their lives. Now everyone's life on average to repay $50 million, and this amount continues to expand. The currency system is a kind of enslavement system. A small number of people only account for 0.001% of the Earth's population. They control this enslavement system, and you don't know who they are. They have successfully convinced most people on the planet that making money is the ultimate goal of life. As long as this small group of people throws out part of the money, they can make humans compete with each other, and fight for them, even wage war. They also lent money to your government, and the country became the object of money control. How to treat love. This is one of God's will, one way to experience the emotion of life. There are many levels of love, a verbal or written expressions thinking level. You can express love and feel emotional level through hugging, kissing, and sexual expression to the body level. These three levels are indispensable because only when these three levels are, the experience will be full of love. Many humans stay at the body level, but the body level will eventually be tired and withered. The same is true for other two levels. If any combination does not only include human love, all three aspects have the same ending, and this is like a triangle. Each corner represents a level. Only triangles are the strongest relationship of which any one level can be carried out by regulating hormonal substances. Only three have both, in order to let the other party involved in the spiritual body feel the complete love. The 10-day journey soon passed, and all the last moment back to Earth. Michel asked Thao if he could confirm his future. Thao said that he can be seen throughout his life until his physical death, but he will not tell Michel about his future, because the first prediction of the future is against the laws of the universe. Psycho know the future. This is a bad thing for life experience. There is no benefit. Although Michel's journey is over, he also got answers to many questions. But these problems have led to more new problems, such as if the will of God is omnipotent, why not create a perfect human being? Did he know in advance that Adam and Eve would steal the forbidden fruit? Will the original sin of human ancestry be passed on to our descendants? The earth that Thao replied will face a comprehensive disaster. What is it? If people really have past lives and present lives, can human beings solve the mystery one day by technological means? If humans really understand these questions, so the process of human future, what will change? Does it make sense for us to continue our current life? If it is really like Michel said, our consciousness comes from the will of God, will eventually go through a series of complex processes. By the side of the united God, then to a certain extent, God is we are God. It may not be true, but we've seen all kinds of disaster on Earth this year. The Great Fires in Australia, the plague of locusts in Africa, the new coronavirus that started last year. When we made this video, there were over 1.97 million people infected worldwide. There seems to have been a lot of disasters this year. But no matter what, we should also face our life positively and keep optimistic. I think it's also a way to experience God's will more fully. Stay mindful, and maybe we can reach level 2 ego a little earlier. Peace out.